Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirate. Reading from Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 29. Bhagavad-gītā ahaṁ karavāṇi atandritaḥ nehamānaḥ prajā-sargaṁ badhyeyaṁ yad-anugrahāt. Bhagavad-gītā ahaṁ karavāṇi atandritaḥ nehamānaḥ prajā-sargaṁ badhyeyaṁ yad-anugrahāt. Bhagavad, by the Personality of Godhead, Chikṣitam, thought, ahaṁ, myself, karavāṇi, by acting, he, certainly, atandritaḥ, instrumental, na, never, nehamānaḥ, although acting, prajā-sargaṁ, generation of the living entities, badhyeyaṁ, by be conditioned, yet as a matter of fact, anugrahāt, by the mercy of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Purport. Translation: Please tell me so that I may be taught in the matter by the instruction of the Personality of Godhead, and may thus act instrumentally to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activities. Brahmājī does not want to become a speculator dependent on the strength of his personal knowledge and conditioned to material bondage. Everyone should know in clear consciousness that one is in the execution of all activities an instrument. A conditioned soul is instrumental in the hands of the external energy, guṇamayī, māyā, or the illusory energy of the Lord. And in the liberated state, the living entity is instrumental to the will of the Personality of Godhead directly. To be instrumental to the direct will of the Lord is the natural constitutional position of the living entity, whereas to be an instrument in the hands of the illusory energy of the Lord is material bondage for the living entity. In that conditioned state, the living entity speculates on the absolute truth and his different activities. But in the unconditioned stage, the living entity directly receives knowledge from the Lord, and such a liberated soul acts flawlessly without any speculative habit. Bhagavad-gītā 10, chapter 10-11 confirms emphatically that the pure devotees who are constantly engaged in the loving transcendental service of the Lord are directly advised by the Lord, so much so that the devotee unwaveringly makes progress on the path home back to Godhead. Pure devotees of the Lord are therefore not proud of their definite progress, whereas the non-devotee speculator is in the darkness of illusory energy and is very much proud of his misleading knowledge based on speculation without any definite path. Lord Brahma wanted to be saved from that pitfall of pride, although he was posted in the most exalted position within the universe. Translation with repetition. Please tell me, so that I may be taught in the matter by the instruction of the Personality of Godhead, and may thus act instrumentally to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activities. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhagavatam Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvitesha Sunyavadi Paschadadeshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Guru Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Bhagavatāmayam Dadāti Satārakam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-pada-kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Yurupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vidantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lita Shri Shakam Vidantam Vanchakalpaskaru Vihascha Kripa Sundur Bhyavicha Patitana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Mukam Karoti Vācālam Kampam Nangayate Giri Kripatamam Mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Kripatamam Mande Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Rupada Patita Pavanam. So Lord Brahma is asking the right things to the Lord, especially to be blessed so that he can continue with the assignment he is assigned with, matter of creation. At the same time, he is well aware that engaging in activities means identification with oneself and tendency to consider oneself as a doer. That is the meaning of being conditioned by what we do. The conditioning that we are the doers. Even though the activity belongs to the Supreme Lord, we are naturally conditioned to think that I am the doer, because effort is there. Effort comes from oneself. But what we forget is that even though the willpower is there in us to do, the willpower is the living entities. It belongs to the living entity. The only thing we have is the will to do, our freedom to do, our decision to do. But once that willpower is there, when we conduct the activity, whatever it is, speaking, working, lifting, walking, running, talking, doing, different forces are functioning to perform that. I may feel that I am the doer, I am lifting this book. I may feel I am the talker. But do I have any control over my tongue? Do I know even the mechanism of the tongue? Do I know how the sound is produced? Do I have any control over my sound? No, I want to speak like somebody else. I have absolutely no control over the mechanism of the speaking. But I am speaking. Because I am speaking, I feel that I am the doer. The entire mechanism is going on, which is totally outside my control. And the result, I have no idea of. That belongs to anybody. Right? So, things are all, 90% of the things are out of my control when I do something. But still, I think that I am the doer. This is the Mama Māyā Duratya, Māyā which makes us to feel that I am the doer, because I have come here to do. Giving up the doership of the Lord and giving up the way He wants us to act, allowing Him to act us whichever way He wants. We felt sometime that I am the doer. And the moment we think that we are the doer, then spiritual world is not the place for us. the Lord has created this material world with all its necessary parts and parcels, all the necessary mechanisms and energies and different things are placed. This is what a devotee considers as the mercy of the Lord or the love of the Lord. Just like when a son goes astray, the love of the father doesn't stop there. Even though the son has gone out of the house, the father would provide all the necessary things for him without his knowledge. The son will think that he is doing it. But the loving Father is making all arrangements. Same way, the loving Supreme Lord is making all the arrangements for the living entities to think that He is a doer and do in this material world. But only fallacy, only price the living entity has to pay is to be bound by those actions, to be bound by the fruits of the action, whether favorable or unfavorable. So favorable fruits and unfavorable fruits are available, and we have no idea what we are going to get. But I think that I am the doer. So this doership, which is very, 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 very deeply inbuilt in us, is the reason why we are here, the reason why we continue to be here, and the reason why we cannot get out of this place. So the moment we realize this concept, which is very difficult, and it's only allowed for those who have got the mercy of the Lord. Hence the Lord is saying that I am the swift deliverer of the living entities. By just depending upon me and doing your activities, I will save you from this danger. So the prerogative of acting in this material world without being touched by the results of this material world is only for the devotees who are surrendered. Now, what is the quality of surrendering to the Lord? Or how do you mention who is surrendered to the Lord? Or how will we gauge ourselves whether we are surrendered to the Lord? And that is what we need to do in our day-to-day life, to keep check and balance and see that we are surrendered to the Lord, because our mind, without our knowledge, takes away from the surrender atmosphere of the Lord. We may feel very surrendered at one point of time. Suddenly we may not feel surrendered by the Lord. Sometimes we feel surrendered, but we are doing something else. So we go by the tendency of the mind, which is unreliable. Mind is taking us and making us feel different things different times. Like somebody who is taken drugs. Somebody who takes drugs and become a drug addict. And he wants to get out of that addiction. And the de-addiction program, if he continues to follow that with the help of an institution who does the program, he goes through a lot of troubles. There's nobody troubling him. What is troubling him? The mind. The mind is making him feel his body is they say his body goes through so many difficulties, feels cold, feels hot, feels vomiting, feels head is breaking, head is splitting apart. I mean, he is feeling all these kind of things. Nothing is happening actually, but he is feeling it by mind. So the game that the mind plays is tremendous. Like Prabhupada says, cold water, hot water, good weather, bad weather, cold weather, all these are not what is troubling us. The mind is what is troubling us. Because in summer we feel cold water very nice. In winter the same cold water, we feel very dangerous. What did the water do? Water didn't do anything. It's the mind which is feeling uncomfortable or comfortable. So our dependence of our mind is so much, we are so much engrossed, covered by this mind, but that we go with its tendency. And what is mind? Mind is a very, very unfrivolous monkey which has no direction, which is just a sphere of experiences, past experiences and imagined experiences. And at different times it makes us feel that, and we succumb to that without any help to get out of that. So this mind, but this same very mind is given so much importance because it can lead us to the Supreme Lord also. So taming the mind becomes such an important role in spiritual life, a basic necessity in spiritual life. You may say, I am a spiritualist, I am controlling my mind. You don't need to be a spiritualist to control the mind. Controlling the mind is not spiritual. It is material. Mind is material. You are using certain material techniques to control the mind. So controlling mind is nothing spiritual. After controlling the mind, you are meditating on the spiritual subject matter, then that is spiritual. After controlling the mind, you are doing activities in the material world on behalf of the Supreme Lord, that is spiritual. That is transcendental. Even super materialist, intelligent person, he can control his mind. Which is just technique. Just like a technical person, a bodybuilder can build his body the way he wants. You want him to be double his weight, you give him 3 months' time, he knows how to double his weight. You tell him no, or an actor, tell him no, the next film you have to be a very thin beggar. And in 3 months' time he will control his eating and make his body so emaciated, look like a beggar. So all this is happening because of controlling. What is spiritual in this? There is nothing spiritual in that. It is just determination. Well, of course, what is driving that determination is he will get crores of rupees. He will get crores of rupees, so he is ready to do tapasya. So that makes it super material, not even sattvic material. Right? So being a spiritualist is different. Being a spiritualist means to engage in the desires of the Lord. Mind control, body control, sense control, everything gets included in it. It helps. Rather, it's a requirement to reach the ultimate goal through that process. So people do not understand the gravity of Bhakti Yoga because it looks very simple. But Bhakti Yoga is a very great thing where we are acting in our constitutional position as if we are liberated. When we are not liberated, acting, doing devotional service, which slowly trains the mind, purifies the senses, over and above all, it gives the mercy of the Lord, which is a prerequisite to detach from this devotion. To detach from this devotion, we cannot do anything. Very difficult for us to detach ourselves from what we are doing. But when we are surrendered to the Lord, and when the Lord's mercy is there, then our doing does not affect us. Or we don't get controlled, or we don't get bound by what we are doing. Until then we are bound by what we are doing. But when we are doing Krishna service, even though in a material mind, the bondage is not as thick as the bondage of a materialistic mind. That is the difference between a karmi and a sadhaka. We cannot say ourselves devotee, sadhaka. A practicing devotee, he does action. He goes out, he walks, he drives, he talks. And a karmi also does the same thing. But the goal, the purpose, the directive is spiritual. Direction of the spiritual master. Act by the sastras, give the result to the Supreme Lord. Hence, result becomes a very important criteria. Where that result goes becomes a very important criteria in our getting bound or not bound. If the result is going for oneself or an extended oneself, then it is bondage. If the result goes nothing for me, only for the Lord, that is super liberation. It is a spiritual activity. Hence it is said that a devotee does not take any benefit from what he is doing, other than what is minimum needed for his maintenance. That is how Bhagavatam starts. It starts by saying that Indriya, by acting by the Indriya you get result, but the result of those or the benefit of those profit, where is it going? Anybody knows that verse? Bhagavatam. Nindriya pritihi kama labhoi jayate. So when that profit is not used for labha, right? Second canto, second chapter. First canto, second chapter. That is the basis of Bhagavatam. What is minimum required for you, you take, and balance is used in Krishna consciousness. So, result of our action plays a very important role in deciding whether the activity you are doing is spiritual or not spiritual. Hence, Prabhupada engages us in activities and denies us the results of the activities to be enjoyed. That is the training of the spiritual master, engaging the disciples in activities and seeing that the disciple does not enjoy the result. Very painful. I collect crores and crores. Not one paisa comes for my decision making. Decision making is big. If I have money and I am taking the decision how to spend it, that means you are enjoying the result of the money. So if I am collecting money and bringing money and I have no right to decide, I am free from the results. This is the criteria whether our activities are devotional or not. Well, I am talking about money because we are all engaged more in collecting money. It could be anything. It could be singing. I am singing, making cassettes. Nowadays nobody makes cassettes. Makes videos and social media. And we are very anxious to know how many people are my followers, how many minds I have captured. It is all nothing but eating one's business. So devotees don't, as far as possible, don't engage in such activities which will increase his passion for result. Rather, a devotee will like to sit in front of the Lord and sing for the Lord's pleasure. Or he can also sit in front of the Lord and sing, and his attention will be for people sitting behind. How many people are enjoying the singing? The person who is standing in the front is the Lord, and hundreds of people are sitting behind. So when he is singing, he feels that how much is being I'm entertaining the people behind. Or I'm talking, how many people are enjoying my talk? So the intention of enjoying the results of our activities determine whether we are spiritualist or not. Nothing else. If we are purely dedicating it for the Lord and not for me, in word and spirit of it, then it doesn't matter what we are doing. Big work, small work, beautiful work, small, very insignificant work, humble work. This can happen. Like Prabhupada said, even a rickshaw puller in Calcutta thinks that he is a great man. He is a great puller. So, external greatness and internal greatness is a big difference. And that is what Brahma is praying. Let me not be entangled by what I am doing, without being conditioned by such activities. In fact, that is the most important line in this. In the entire spiritual sadhana we do, the most important line is this: not to be conditioned by the activity. Because activity is not important. Activity is based upon my past. I can do something big, I do that. I cannot do big, I can do something small, do something small. I can't do this, I do something. What we do is totally depend upon our previous vasanas. I have good karma to do big things, good. But you do big things and think that you are doing no use. I have no karma, I can only sit and make flower garlands. Good. But if I am doing the small flower garland work or cleaning work and thinking that I am not the doer and going on being conscious of that, he is super spiritualist than this great man doing great things. This secret we have done. That is the crux of spiritual life, devotion. That is hitting the real core of materialism. If we can hit at this core of materialism, then we can be free. And this is what is Bhagavad-gītā called as snake without the fangs. He can engage in any activity without being contaminated by the material world. Because contamination or no contamination, what is the basis? I'm in the material world, I'm in the water swimming. And now you're telling that not to get wet. The wetness depends upon whether I'm enjoying the result or not. That's all. This concept has to be understood when we do any activities. And especially for us, because Prabhupada engaged us in activities, doing action, because that's the first step. Doing action, not doing Vishram in the ashram. So Prabhupada did not call this an ashram. It's called ashram. He said it's called movement. Movement is a very vibrant place. So engaging in action is the first thing. Because when you give up material activities and come to so-called ashram, the first thing what comes up is lethargy. खाना पीना मिलेगा, सोने का जगह भी है, छत भी है. So main thing is act. So action is first thing. After action is the thing. Next thing is how not to be affected by the result of the action. So you may say, Prabhupada did not talk very intricate subject of this reaction and action and the fruits. Prabhupada said engage. Why? By such engagement, gradually purification happens. By such engagement, gradually mercy comes of the Supreme Lord. And only with the weapon of mercy we can get this detachment. Not by our own endeavor. By standing upside down, do yoga morning to evening, one fine day you'll be free from the material world. No, not possible. It is only when we engage in the preeti work of the Lord, of the spiritual master. When the devotees, when the boys and girls are engaging in the activities told by spiritual master, then purification comes. And with this purification, we get that energy and the mercy of the Lord to detach. But that is the goal. Without that, it is not possible. So we have to be conscious of this. So engaging in the spiritual life and engaging as per directed, and that is another sign of being detached from the fruits. You can be engaged as per your requirement. I can say, I like to do this, I like to be engaged in this particular activity. But there is nothing but the tendency to enjoy the fruit coming out of that activity. Hence, when I do activity which has been told to do, which is not to my liking or maybe to my liking, I have more chance of being detached from the result. Hence, direction. The process of that. Like Prabhupada said, act as per directed. By Prabhupada and his systems, by his institution. So these may be a little unpleasant way of functioning to the mind, but they are very, very good for the soul, for liberation. Because the happiness of the soul depends upon liberation or not liberation. The more I am liberated, the happier I am situated. Anandamayo abhyasa, ananda comes. Ananda comes from being free from nirananda subject. Because the more I associate with this matter, which is nothing but niras, I will always be niras. The more I am attached to Rasamaya, Supreme Lord's energy, I will also be free from this. That's all the secret of spiritual life. And that should be the aim of our life. Apart from all other external success, failures. Failure also can be there. I can be totally broken because I did a mistake. And brood over it. And be sad about it. And be unenthusiastic for next few days, few years, few months. Be in depression. Depression is nothing but eating one's food. Depression is nothing but enjoying my unsuccess. Very difficult to believe how this is enjoyment. He is in depression and you are saying that he is enjoying. Yes. You can be on depression only when you are connected to the result of your body and mind. Same, opposite, acceleration, jumping around, because I got 1 crore. Or no collection for 1 month, I am finished. I am in depression. So these are signs of eating the fruits or being conditioned by our own activities. So spiritual life is not based upon the result. That is why it is said. Even I can be a very conditioned person in my poverty. I can be a very conditioned person in my richness also. Both can bind me. My poverty can also bind me. My sadness also is binding me. My happiness is binding me. My riches are binding me. Hence, a spiritualist has nothing to do with profit, loss, rich, poor, beauty, ugly. Hence, he becomes dvandva-atita, free from both the dvandvas, good and bad. Dvandva-atitam triguna-rahitam. This is a state of spiritual existence. Sat. No dvandva. No success, no failure. Guna-atita. Not participating in sattva, just atamas. So this is when we become lotus leaf-like in the water. This is why Gita says, be the lotus leaf in the water, which is in the water but not yet getting wet. So we are in the material world doing all wetness activities, but we should not get wet. And that's only connected to enjoying the result of. So action is a primary thing. And then purification of action is the next thing. So by action and purification of action, mind gets controlled, intelligence acts, shastras come into picture, Lord's energy and Lord's mercy come into picture, and then you cross the material ocean. So one of the biggest things which helps us along with action is acquiring knowledge. By knowledge, we can cross, or we can get the mercy of the Lord, we can get intelligence to direct the mind. Knowledge, along with our activities, knowledge has to be there. That is why we have our sadhanas in the morning, sadhanas in the evening, and books written by Purport to engage our mind and intelligence in sastric understanding, which we can contemplate on, which will help the mind to be directed. So when that is there, it helps. Shreyasam api sarvesam jnana nishreyasam param. The endeavor to get knowledge is highest. According to our ability, we have to act, and according to our ability, we have to cultivate knowledge. When these two things are done, then they become a boat to cross over this material life, which is nothing but attachment to one's activities. Everything in this material world starts with attachment to the results of our activities. Hence, what we are doing is a great tapasya. We are going out and doing a lot of activities, but nothing is for me. Everything we do, nothing is for me. Hence, our activities are called great tapasya. So that is what Prabhupada wanted. Do, because the passion is there to do. So he intelligently, very, very artistically engages in different activities of Krishna consciousness, in developing the movement, preaching, building up, engaging. But we have to know that these are all opportunities for getting conditioned. Hence, Mayavadi say, why are you doing this? Stop acting. Sit under a tree, give up everything. No problem. But all problems will come. Like Prabhupada said, monkeys in Vrindavan, they only think about two things. So, that doesn't help. Especially in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is an age of action. Satya Yuga is an age of inaction. Om Shanti. Everything is Shanti. Mind is also free. But Kali Yuga, action. The whole world is running, made Running for what? Running for something which is created by itself. It's a wheel. What do you call those wheels where the squirrels run. The wheel is fixed, it is not going anywhere. But he is very active in running. So Kali Yuga is a time for that. So in such a time, nothing will work other than action. And by good fortune and by the mercy of the Lord, we will learn how not to be connected to the result of the action. Either by frustration in action or by the mercy of the Lord or by the blessing of the spiritual master. We will learn. This is what Krishna does for us, to us. So in this way, step by step, we achieve perfection. This secret we have to know. That is why many people blame, no, don't do management. Why do you want to deal with all these material things? No, don't do collection. You should only do book distribution. You should only do pujari work. You should only go and talk about Krishna. We do all kind of activities. Because what is action is not important. How the action is more important. So the onus is on us, and the action to do is not is a direction. Whatever action to be done is a direction given to us. That is none of our business. The less and less we are attracted to what we do, the better. Hence Krishna says, do action as duty. Because in duty, that is why family life is a great opportunity to detach. Doesn't mean the Brahmājī should become grihastha. But one of the good quality of a grihastha life is that he is forced to act. Wife will beat him otherwise. The kids will beat him otherwise. The society will beat him otherwise. He is made to run because he has to. Hence he is doing some duty. Hence he is free from his action. So great, the best even family life. One of the advantages. In the midst of so many disadvantages. So acting as a duty is more important. Ultimately, at the end of the life, we should know that we are not attached to anything we are done. Material people, when they retire, that is the time they act till 60 years. After 60 years, they start thinking what all they did in 60 years and keep talking about it. Even though no action is done, he is fully active in the mind. No detachment is coming. Rather, that's the time to forget what he did and catch on to spiritualism. They won't do that. Have you heard? Any old man you talk to him. When I was here, you know what happened? When I was doing that, they cannot give up their past. The devotee is not concerned with the past, success or failure. Oh, bad man he was. So what? A devotee is Aryan. Aryan means progressively increasing. He is cultivating. He is Aryan, who is progressively increasing. So we are not our yesterday. If you are thinking of yesterday, you are still enjoying the result of it. So I don't brood over my sorrows, yesterday's sorrows, what happened to me, or what I did. But that doesn't mean an excuse for you to do bad. But today, if I have given up all my bad, or today I have given up all my endeavors for success, enjoying the result. Very important aspect what Brahma is talking here. He is not telling the Lord, now you are in front of me, please take me with you. I am coming with you. Lord cannot even take us. Why? I am fixed in enjoying my activities. As long as I am not free from that fixation, even the Lord cannot take me out of this material world. So please tell me, so I may be taught by the matter of instruction. So two things are here in this word as I was talking about, action and knowledge. Brahma is asking both these things. Brahma is asking, give me, teach me. And then he is saying, let me not be conditioned by the activity. These are the two crux of spiritual life. Please tell me so that I may be taught in the matter by the instruction of the personality of Godhead, and may thus act instrumentally to generate living entities, because that is his work. My work is to generate fund. My work is to preach. My work is to cook. My work is to do puja. My work is to clean. Same. So our prayer only should be give me knowledge and let me not be attached to the work. And thus act instrumentally to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activities. Very practical. And this people don't know that this is how spiritual life advancement happens. Doesn't matter how many agrabatis you light, doesn't matter how many kind of tilaks you wear, doesn't matter what kind of cloth you wear, doesn't matter what kind of society you are representing. What means is that are you cultivating knowledge, number one, or number two, are you detaching yourself from what you are doing? Thus, does it? Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Like many times we know that this action or something is not good for us. We are knowing of that thing is going to harm me in my spiritual life or practicing. But still that impulse comes, or we may indulge in that activity or that action.
That is why we need to cultivate knowledge to know that how that is bad. So by cultivating that kind of knowledge, we will detach.
Yeah, even though I know that it is bad.
No, we don't know. We don't know. Knowing few slokas doesn't mean that we know. What is know? Knowing means it is applied knowledge. When you apply knowledge, you will know. That is called vijnana. That is called realization. So knowing is different, realizing is different. So we should use the word realizing. Until we realize, we will do this. Once we realize, we will do that. So it takes time from knowledge getting converted into realization. So we have to gain knowledge and apply the knowledge now. That is the time now. Now is not the time for realization. We will not get realized. You will be frustrated if you are trying to be realized. We cannot. This is the time to cultivate. This is not saying, oh, I am not achieving, I am not getting. You are not even started, what will you get? Right? So since we are not even started, we don't think of the result now. We should only spend our time in cultivating knowledge and practicing detachment. So that is why bhakti is always jnana, realization, and detachment are the two things. Jnana, vairagya, sahita bhakti. So that takes time. So cultivate, we have to keep cultivating it. Cultivating is nothing but practice.
To give you an example, like sitting and you will be meditating, how many people are seeing me, watching me. So, in some cases, it may not be like that. Some devotee may feeling, oh, at least so many devotees are hearing and Krishna Katha, and he may enjoy in that sense also. So, hardly it matters, because preaching is not harmful. Preaching more people is also not harmful. But what we see that we have to change that only. I think I can elaborate more.
You may be preaching to many people, but by doing that, what are we trying to achieve? We are trying to achieve our liberation and their liberation. We are not come to the stage of Vasudeva Datta saying that everybody get liberated, I will remain here. No. If we are saying that, we are cheating ourselves. We are not come to that state of bhakti or compassion. So today, our preaching is a sadhana. So in sadhana, we have to make sure that we are doing it to please Krishna as instrumental, like Brahma himself saying, make me instrumental in my activity. Yes, I am supposed to create living entities and make facility. That is my activity. But engage me in that with knowledge and detachment. When he is saying that, our purpose is to preach. But while engaging in the preaching activities, we should also have jnana and understand that we have to detach and not do it for our own glorification. Because if you are doing it for your glorification, no matter how many people you deliver, you will not get delivered. People may hear and they will go up. I preached to you, you paid for me to go. You preached to me, but Prabhu, that man will say, you preached to me and I learned what I should not do. Because you were preaching and enjoying your popularity in preaching. But I learned what you said and I practiced and now I am going up. So you cannot say that it is what is wrong with it. Nothing wrong, it is good activity if you want to remain in Sattva-guna. But our purpose is not that. Our purpose is liberation. We are doing it on behalf of our spiritual master. I am not talking. What do I have to talk? I am talking what Prabhupada said. I am just narrating what Prabhupada said. I have nothing to talk and liberate anybody. It is Prabhupada who is liberating anybody. I have no action in liberating anybody. Everything he is doing, I am just instrument. So I am not liberating anybody. I can't even liberate anybody. Unless we are liberated, he cannot liberate anybody. Impossible. So thinking doesn't work. Yes, what is that? I am also enjoying, but I am enjoying in Krishna. It doesn't work. Because there is no Krishna there. I may be talking Krishna, but there is no Krishna there. When there is only I there is no Krishna there. So there can only be two people, either me or Krishna. It's a mixed thing, gradually we have to purify, but at least the endeavor to purify should be there. You cannot say that I am enjoying my activity and others are also hearing, so it is good. No, it is good, but it's not enough. Because that is instruction. Our purpose is for liberation in this material world. Until we come to the state of compassion, where I am ready to take the karma of everybody and on behalf of everybody, I am ready to be in this material world for millenniums after millennium. We are not come to that stage. Prabhupada has not told us to practice further. Prabhupada said, go back to Godhead. Prabhupada did not say, purify everybody and remain in this material world. These are all special devotees who can do that. So that is also we understand. If I am here, everybody is going. These are all our mind playing tricks on us. Excuses for the mind to keep enjoying this material world, even in the name of spiritualism. All show bottle spiritualism. But if you have an order by the spiritual master, preach. So if you have an order by the spiritual master, like Prabhupada has order, go out, preach, make disciples, liberate people. Bhakti-siddhanta said two things. It will help the people who are hearing you and you. Have you read that letter? So both. It's not a question of, when we preach, it helps them and it should help us also. So how does it help us? It helps us by realizing and keeping in our mind that I am an instrument, I should not test the result, and I should not go into this name, fame, puja, pratishtha, lava thing. That is for us. I know subject. I know, we all know how to go back to Godhead. We know. We cannot say I am in ignorance. We know. We do.
So it is like that. Person, instead of fear, no, I'll get entangled, I'll not preach people. So instead of that, preach and trade yourself in that.
Exactly.
This thing will come.
You can sit in a corner and say that I will not go out and preach, but you will be full of materialism. So activity does not stop you from materialism or non-materialism. As Prabhupada said, engage, do gradually realize. That's what I am saying. And that is exactly what Prabhupada said, gradually. But you should know this also. You should know this also, that is not all in all. Not get lost in that. We have to keep both in mind. I am doing. That way, Madhavendra Puri could have stayed in that town and made himself a great man, saying that let people see how a great devotee acts. But he ran away. So when Madhavendra Puri is scared about Puja Pratishtha Labha, who are you and me? So we take it both in our mind. It's a combined thing. Prabhupada said act. But that doesn't mean that I'll maintain my puja, I'll maintain my pratishtha, I'll maintain my desire. I have it. I know I have it. But I should try to give it up. Not that I maintain it. That is what the offense is, what trying to maintain it. Our weakness is not the problem. Problem is our desire to maintain it. So we should try to give it up. Weakness will be there. And some devotees will tell, our elders will preach, seniors will tell, or you yourself will realize. Different ways. We have to keep going forward. We should not get stuck, thinking that I'm doing great benefit to the world. There is no use of doing great benefit to the world when you are not benefiting yourself. Charity begins at home. So that is also important. But in the name of that, you should not simply sit quiet. Fearing this. That is Sukadeva Goswami. I'm afraid to come out of the material world. I better sit in the womb. We cannot imitate that. I better sit in my ashram. Because in the ashram also, the whole world is with you. If you don't go to the world, the whole world will come to you inside the room where you're staying. So better go out of the room to the world and expose and get purified. So they said that a transcendentalist should feel full of association in the midst of the forest, and he should feel totally ekanta in the middle of all the material world. So you put a devotee in the middle of material world, he should feel ekanta. And when he is put ekanta, right, if he is sitting alone, he doesn't feel alone because he is in the midst of entire transcendental subject. He feels peace. The matter is saying he feels peaceful in both situations, whether he is alone in a room or is in the midst of thousands. So that doesn't make a difference. You can be in Maya alone. You can be liberated in the midst of people also. That is the quality of a transcendentalist. That's the ability we should come to. Some people say, I don't like to sit in the ashram. That is all our fruitive activities. If for a few days there is no preaching, he should be feeling. COVID time, many devotees felt very restless. Sitting, nothing to do. But if he is an experienced transcendentalist, he should be feeling happy. He has so many other engagements to do to fill his mind with transcendental subject matter. So we are so conditioned to go and talk, go and do this, go and do that and expose ourselves. We feel homesick. So transcendentalist doesn't feel homesick when he is outside, and he doesn't feel lonely when he is inside. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Purport.